Today we're going to talk all about gestational diabetes. What does that mean? Well, we know that blood glucose refers to the level of sugar concentration in the blood system. And when that level is elevated, the body tends to produce more insulin. The liver in the body tends to produce more insulin. During pregnancy, when this occurs, it's referred to as gestational diabetes, meaning that your blood glucose levels are elevated due to factors in the pregnancy. So, what does that mean? How does that affect your pregnancy? Well, gestational diabetes can affect pregnancy in many different ways and increase the risk for macrosomia, which is a large baby, perineal trauma due to delivering a large baby, shoulder dystocia because of a large baby, newborn jaundice, and newborn hypoglycemia are also some risks. So, how your body reacts to sugar and breaks down sugar during pregnancy, if there is a discord with that, it can also affect your baby. Having elevated blood glucose levels can also turn on genetic mutations in the baby. Where there's a ton of sugar, the baby will start diuresing, so you'll have things like polyhydramnios that are also factors as well. So, how do we screen for this? In the beginning of pregnancy, we test your hemoglobin A1C levels to see what the body's natural sugar levels are doing. And it gives us kind of an overview of how the body's insulin production has been over the last 3 months. So that's done at the beginning of pregnancy. About midway through the pregnancy, between 26 and 28 weeks, we will test that hemoglobin A1C again, and we will also send you for a gestational diabetes screening. There are many different ways to do gestational diabetes screenings. You'll have options and you'll have an informed consent that you and your partner can review to figure out what is the best option for you. So, the first option would be for you to go to a laboratory facility. I'll write the order for you to have that done. And they test it with a glucola drink. So you'll have a 50-gram glucola drink that you'll drink for an hour, or you'll drink first, and then an hour later they'll test your blood sugar to see what your levels are. If that level comes back within normal range, then you're clear for gestational diabetes. If that level comes back elevated, then you'll have subsequent testing in the form of a 3-hour glucola test. Glucola screening, where you'll have to drink that same drink for every hour for 3 hours, and you'll have your blood tested every hour for 3 hours. Some people find that invasive. The other thing is, a lot of the research has shown that gestational diabetes can be transient. So if you have an elevated result today, doesn't mean you'll have an elevated result tomorrow. Vice versa, if you have a result that's not elevated today, it could be elevated tomorrow. It all depends on your diet, nutrition, and how your body is metabolizing the sugar and carbohydrates that you're consuming, or just regular foods that you're consuming, how the body's breaking that down. The other option for testing is to do a 5-day in-home finger stick test, which is actually what the endocrinologist or the maternal fetal medicine specialist would recommend if you had those two elevated levels. So if the 1 hour came back elevated and the 3 hour came back elevated, you would be referred to a specialist for management. They still would not start you on insulin. They would do the 5-day in-home blood sugars. How that works is you would test your sugar twice a day for 5 days. The first test would be first thing in the morning, which is considered a fasting, before you eat or drink anything. You're going to see what those levels are and how your insulin production was throughout the night based off of the meal that you ate the night before. So you'll write that down along with that value. The next time you'll test it is after a large meal. It could be any time of the day. Anything that you normally eat, we suggest that you would try to eat. So if you guys have a pizza night or a pasta night, or a taco night, try to incorporate that along with the testing. So you'll eat something, you'll wait 2 hours, won't put anything in your mouth at all, and then test to see where your levels are. So that's how that kind of works. And again, you do that twice a day for 5 days. You'll send me the readings and I'll go over them with you, over the values with you, and let you know if any of them are elevated. If they do come back, if that test comes back elevated, or any of those values are outside of the normal range, then I will have you continue that twice a day testing and also refer you to a physician for a consultation to see if insulin is required. If we can't get it under the control with the diet, then 9 times out of 10 you will require insulin. If you require insulin, then unfortunately that would risk you out of home birth. But there's so many things that we can do in the meantime to make sure that those tests come back accurate. So we're going to watch our carbohydrate intake. We're going to consume dark leafy greens every day. We're going to walk every day, and not to consume a ton of sugar. Try to keep it under about 30 grams a day, and pay attention to the labels that of the food that you're consuming, because every food on the planet has added sugar in it. So I hope this helps. And if you have any questions, please feel free to let me know.